Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're back at it with another banger for you guys. I'm going to be doing my review on Travis Scott's Utopia finally. I know it's been a couple days, you guys have probably been dripping in sweat. You're like, I can't wait for Whoopty to drop his review. But here I am, I'm dropping the review, and I hope you guys are ready. I'm super excited to drop this guy for you guys. So, let's go ahead and get into this. If you like this kind of stuff, if you're new, hit that like and subscribe button. And, if you're not new, thanks for being back and continuing on the ride. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, also comment what you guys thought of Utopia. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So like I said, Utopia has finally dropped, after 5 years since he released Astroworld in 2018. Utopia is Travis Scott's fourth studio album. He's got Rodeo, Birds in the Trap Sing Midnight, and Astroworld, and Utopia. There's been a lot of talks on this album, like if it was going to live up to the hype. There's been some insanely high expectations. Like, I've seen a lot of people say it's going to be the album of the decade. It's going to be one of the greatest rap albums of all time. And I've also seen a lot of people saying that they don't think it's going to be good and they think it's going to fail. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see what people think. And what I've seen on people's opinions so far is they're pretty polarizing. A lot of people are saying it is like, what they expected, 9 or 10 out of 10s, one of the best albums in recent history. And a lot of people are saying it's trash and giving super low ratings. And I think it's because of how unique the album is. And it wasn't like an Astroworld, because there's a difference between being a Travis Scott fan and an Astroworld fan, because Astroworld is so much different than all of his other records. It's more of a basic, just banger album, and Rodeo is a lot more unique, and so it kind of just depends what you were looking for. But there was a lot of people disappointed because it wasn't the same Travis Scott from Astroworld, and then a lot of people are loving it. And I personally love Astroworld. It is personally my favorite Travis Scott album. But I love that he kept it unique and fresh and gave us something we've never really heard before, almost. And it was one of the most unique soundscapes that we've had in a long time, and definitely going to be the most unique we will get in 2023. At least I doubt we will get one that is this unique and the production is this good this year. This album, another great thing about it is it's produced mainly by Kanye and Travis Scott. Travis Scott is one of the best producers, really, of recent time, and Kanye is one of the greatest hip-hop producers of all time. There's no debating in that, and I love Kanye. I'm in love with him. He's a dog, and I don't care what people say about him. I still love his music. I've heard a lot of people saying that they think this album is like Yeezus, how it's a lot different and kind of strayed away from what they normally did, and it's more experimental and changes the style. And I haven't personally listened to Yeezus yet. I really need to. But that's what I've heard, and I can see that. Because I have heard my whole life how different Yeezus is than a lot of his other projects, and it's kind of like Utopia. It's very polarizing what people's opinions are. A lot of people like it, and a lot of people do not like it really at all. If you're going off his other albums, this one is definitely, definitely closer to like a Rodeo. Rodeo is also very, very unique. It's definitely more like your Rodeo than Astroworld and stuff. The whole album, to me, besides songs like K-pop, feels like pretty dark with the aesthetic, and feels pretty much the same throughout the whole track list. It's kind of dark, and it like puts you in a zone almost, and I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because I always try to keep it real with you guys. I wasn't a fan of Utopia on first listen, and don't get me wrong, I didn't think it was bad, like the 2s and stuff people were giving it, but I thought it was pretty average. I would give it around a 6 if I'm going off first listen. I thought it was okay, but it was really because I was disappointed, because I was one of those people wanting another Astroworld, but I didn't get that, and I listened and I kept listening, and it just kept getting better and better, and I'm really glad now that he changed and did something super unique, because now I really enjoy this album. And once you like kind of take your mind off what you're wanting and just go in and listen, it makes you realize how good of a project this really is. Now I'm going to go into some of the songs. I don't know if I'll go into every one. I might. I have a lot of stuff about each one's written on my computer, so I'm kind of looking off that if you're wondering why I'm looking there. But let's go ahead and start with the first track. You got Hyena or Hyena. I don't know exactly how you say it, but I'm gonna be honest, that song is a banger. It is a banger. It starts with this like funky beat, and then Travis just hops on and creates a really memorable opening to the album that, you know, makes you immediately focused and locked in on the album and the song and the experience immediately, and the album starts with a bang, like Travis always seems to do. I'm gonna keep it brief with a lot of these songs, like Thank God. I think that song's okay. I mean, it sounds, he's kind of sluggish, Travis is, and it's kind of just a more boring song in my opinion. Towards the end, he picks it up a little bit, but when you're taking the grand scheme of the whole song, I think it's just pretty okay. But next you got Modern Jam. I think it's a pretty fun song. It's super unique. It's like a summer jam. It sounds like one, you know, you got the windows rolled down and you're just vibing to it. It's kind of all over the place. Got some funky beats and the samples I really liked. And Travis has a pretty solid verse that makes it like a fun, bouncy track just to vibe to with the homies. Now we got My Eyes, and it's a really good song. It's really soft, but the message is great, and it's a pretty good song. He starts off slow, and it's emotional, and he talks about how he misses his childhood and the simplicity of how life was as a child and how much he misses it. Then later in the song, the tempo goes up, the beat switches, and Travis starts going ham. I mean, he's spitting, and he also mentions the tragedy that was Astroworld that lost 9 to 10 lives or something, which was terrible. It kind of shocked the whole hip-hop community and a lot of people worldwide, and it was a terrible thing. And he kind of talked about, like, the title of the song is My Eyes, and it's something that he saw with his eyes that he basically can never forget and never unsee, is like what he says in the song. It's a really good message, and overall a really good song. You got God's Country, which I think is an okay song also. I think the background, the like little kids that sounds almost kind of creepy, is kind of weird. I mean, it's okay. It just gets a little annoying to me. The la 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 la. I mean, it's kind of scary. It kind of freaks me out a little bit, especially at first. The beat was kind of curated and made by Kanye, if I did look that up right. But I think the song is okay. It didn't leave much of an impact for me. I did kind of like the part where Travis was like, and I see the light, you know, and he goes a little bit more high pitched. But overall, I think the song is pretty average. But next you got Sirens, which starts off with what almost sounds like a choir. It sounds kind of triumphant. It sounds good. And then it's like a hectic beat that comes in. And Travis puts together a pretty solid verse. Later in the song, there's like a weird sound. It sounds like a little kid making noises or something. And it comes every once in a while. And then towards the end, it loops and then keeps repeating. And I find it a little annoying. And it's a little weird that they added it. It was like the la 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 la. Or no, it wasn't. It was just like yeah. I don't even know. They kept repeating, and it was like going back. It kept going, if you know what I'm talking about. And I thought it was kind of weird, honestly. I also liked how Drake talked for a little bit at the end of the song, getting ready to go into the next song, which is Meltdown, which Drake is also in. And let's just say Drizzy Drake, my Queenie honey bun, went crazy. He went absolute bonkers. It's tea time, if you know what I'm saying. If you've listened, you know what I'm talking about. He goes absolutely ham. He puts together such a fire verse, and he also mixed in some almost whispering bars, and I liked it. I thought it was heat. Drake had another amazing verse. He's had so many good verses this year. And then after Drake's part, there is another beat switch, another one. And Travis also puts together a really good verse. And I think this is one of the best, if not the best, aux banger on the album to plug in and play with the homies. It's definitely one of those kind of songs. And later in the song, there is yet another beat switch, if I remember right, and Travis also goes ham again. So it's a really good song. I really enjoy Meltdown, one of my favorites on the album. Then you got the other one that is probably in contention for the best aux banger, and it's Fiend. It's just such a fun banger. I just really enjoy listening to it. Even the chorus where he's like, Fiend, Fiend, Fiend. It just goes hard. It gets everyone, at least it gets me really excited. So, and I've seen a lot of people really do enjoy the song. And then later in the song, you got Playboy Cardi, which when I first heard it, I had no idea that it was Playboi Carti. He's got this deep voice that you normally don't hear. Normally he's got like this baby voice almost where he's like, or like he sounds like an alien or like a bee or something. I don't even know how to explain it, but he has more of a deep voice, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was pretty cool, and I like that Playboi Carti did something unique and different for Utopia. Sorry, there's a bug flying in my face. But yeah, I really did enjoy Fiend. Next, you got Del Resto Echoes featuring Beyonce. Oh my gosh, this bug is killing me. It's annoying me. Anyways, Beyonce has a pretty solid singing performance, nothing crazy, but it was almost like it was echoing, kind of like the title, you know, echoes, you know. But anyways, she finishes her bar, or not her bar, her verse, or whatever you want to call it. And then there's another beat switch. There's a ton of beat switches on this album. And Travis, he starts kind of slow, then starts getting faster, more chaotic. And then Beyonce gets back on her chorus, I guess you want to call it. And then there's the same less nice singing, but overall, I kind of find the song pretty average. I find it kind of boring. It's just kind of sing-songy, but not anything crazy singing. I don't think it's bad, but definitely not a song I would personally revisit very often. But next we got I Know. And all I'm going to say is this is another one of my favorites off the album. This song is a banger. It's got such a hard beat. The production on the song is phenomenal, which I'm going to go ahead and say this if I haven't already. The production on the whole album is phenomenal. It's arguably the best thing about the album, and you could say that about a lot of Travis albums, because his production is always like elite. It is elite. It is normally some of the best in the game, and it's so good. I love I Know. It's so creamy. It's just silky, and it's one of my favorite songs off the album. I feel it's pretty underrated. I've seen people talk about it, but people talk about a lot of the songs. But in the grand scheme of the album, I haven't seen it talked about a ton. But, you know, when he's like, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I don't know. It's just, I really vibe with the song, and I really enjoy it. The next song is Utopia Twins, and this is one of the weaker songs on the album, in my opinion. I do really enjoy Rob 49's verse, which I'm going to be honest, I have never heard of him in my life. And maybe I'm sleeping, but I really did enjoy his verse. And 21 also had a pretty good verse, but I felt Travis was kind of weak on the song. I felt it was pretty average, and the song can get a little, it's just okay. There's nothing crazy about it. I find the production weaker in this song than a lot of the other tracks on the album, so it's probably one of the worst songs on the album, in my personal opinion. Then you got Circus Maximus, another song I'm not going to get into much. I think the production is pretty good, but I think the performance of Travis Scott was solid, but nothing crazy, and I think The Weeknd did pretty good. It was pretty sexy and creamy, but he didn't really say anything. It was a lot of like his high moaning stuff, but nothing crazy in general. Then you got Parasol, which I wouldn't even really consider a song, but if I was considering a song, I'd say it's one of the worst, because he basically just talks. It's basically just talking for like a minute and a half. It's super short, and it's just doesn't even really give the vibe of a song, to me at least. Then you got Schizo, which I do really enjoy the song. It's pretty vibey, it's pretty catchy, it's kind of flowy. It gets the juices pumping again after a couple weaker songs. There's like 3 songs in a row that are some of my least favorite on the album. But Young Thug comes in, and he gives a pretty solid feature. He does like a similar flow as Travis, but you know, he has his unique sound that, you know, you can't miss if you know rap. Young Thug sounds so unique. Then there's another beat switch, and Travis changes flow and goes crazy. I mean, he goes absolutely ballistic knock crackers, you know? And it just feels like a completely different song, and it keeps it fresh for a 6-minute song. I believe the runtime is 6 minutes around. And then there's another beat change towards the end, and Travis Scott also goes crazy again. So it kind of feels like it's like 3 songs in one. And it just keeps the song, even though it's 6 minutes, which isn't crazy long, but it keeps it fresh, because it almost seems like there's like 3 2-minute songs or whatever. It feels like there's 3 songs, and just keeps the song fresh, keeps it a silky, sweet listen throughout the whole track. Lost Forever, I find, is kind of towards the middle of the album. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's like crazy. And I think West Side Gun has a pretty solid feature, and then you got the juicy James Blake, you know, in the mix a little bit, but I find it pretty average, but not a bad song. Then you got Love, and Travis immediately starts with like a super chaotic, funky flow. and it's fast, and it's different from any flow I have heard from Travis probably ever. Also, the beat and the production is super unique in this song, and it's just a different sound than I think I've heard in Travis's entire catalog. And also, you got a Kid Cudi verse that is pretty solid. I don't have anything to complain about it, and I do enjoy the song Love. I think it's pretty solid. I love it, I guess you could say. Then you got K-pop, the most controversial song on the entire album almost. Not like he says controversial things, really. It's just a lot of people are hating on the song, saying the song is garbage, which, if you think that, it ain't gonna affect me. But I kind of like the song. I'm not saying I love it. There's a lot of songs I prefer, but I do not think it's bad like a lot of people are saying. I will admit Travis is barely present on the track at all. He says the swish and then a few other things, which sounds fire, but he's barely present. And Bad Bunny takes up a lot of the song. And I think Bad Bunny's part is really catchy. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't have any idea what he's saying, but I'm like chilling. I'm just like, I'm vibing out. And then you got The Weeknd. The Weeknd always keeps it creamy and silky. It sounds good. It sounds great. I really like The Weeknd's verse, and I just find it not really fitting for the album, but as a song, I think it's not bad. I think it isn't too bad. I think it's catchy, it's vibey, just kind of a fun summer song. Then we got Telekinesis, and holy crack-a-doodle-doo crackers. This song, in my opinion, is phenomenal. It is one of the best Travis Scott songs I've heard, and maybe my favorite hip-hop song that has came out this year. I really enjoy it that much. It just makes me feel like I'm in another universe. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It makes me feel like I'm floating. It makes me feel like I'm non-existent. I'm just floating. And it's got me like in a trance. And it's just got me locked in for 6 minutes. And it's just such a good song. And all the verses are really good in my opinion. Travis's verse is great. And when he does the chorus, it's so good. It's so good. Future also has such a good part. I think Future's verse is amazing. And holy alligator snapping turtles. SZA snapped. It's amazing. Her verse is so great. And the song is one of my favorite Travis songs, maybe ever. It's a little too early to tell, but it's just so beautiful. And it's just got me locked in for the 6 minutes or however long a song is. And every time I hear it, it's like I'm not ready for the song to end almost. It's like, it feels like you're in a movie, or it's like seeing a movie for the first time. It's like an experience that you just don't want to end every time I listen to it so far. And I think it's truly a masterpiece. I think it's amazing, and it is my favorite song on the album by a good amount. So let me know what you guys think about that. Then you got the final song on the album, Till Further Notice, and it's also a really good end to the album. You got another classic James Blake part on a Travis album. Travis and James Blake go together like hockey and rubber ducks. You just can't keep them away from each other. They're perfect, and it's really beautiful, and it makes me feel really silly. And also 21 is on there and has a great verse, I think, and it turned me on. And I just think 21 has been so freaking consistent the last couple years. He dropped so many fire verses on every album, and I think he's been consistently arguably the best feature artist of the last couple years. And yeah, that's basically all I have. Overall, the album was a great experience. It had me locked in from beginning to end, except for the first time I listened to, I'll be honest. But it was really late when I listened to it, and I was tired. But yeah, it was a great album experience. It was really strong. There were some weak points in my opinion, but the album overall was really nice to listen to, and even the weak points are not bad at all. This is definitely the best album experience I've had so far with a hip hop album as of 2023, this year. And it doesn't have a ton of like car bangers and stuff like that, but it just has a ton of really good put together high quality songs with tons of unique soundscapes, whatever you want to call it, tons of unique beats, production, all of these things, tons of unique rappers that you don't hear on a lot of projects. Or if you're not if you are just a mainstream listener, I haven't even heard of a couple of these guys. So I thought that was really nice to have. Now, for my rating, if I had to give it a rating overall for the whole album experience, I think I would give it around an 8. There is a few misses, but I think the misses are not that bad. And I think if I'm going like bangers, you know, I think the Pink Tape, you guys might hate on me for this, I think the Pink Tape has some better bangers, but I think as far as an overall listen, I think this is a good amount better. The Pink Tape has some good songs, but I think it also has some pretty poor songs. But I think this is my album of the year so far, and I feel like it's going to be tough to top, but we will see. So I think I'd give it around an 8, maybe a little lower. I don't know how much higher I'd go at the moment. It could change, but right now I'd give it a solid 8. So let me know what you guys think of the album. And yeah, this is going to be it for the video. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy. And stay tuned for some new content coming up. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace out.